191 Collabs, presented by Pinnacle Financial Partners, brings Grizz Nation hyper-local Grizz gear from Memphis designers. The next drop is the top-notch collection from proud Memphian Brandon Hobbs and his clothing brand M-Town Merch. The homage to Memphis culture, classic sportswear, and elevated street style is only available at the Grizzlies Den on Friday, November 7th when the Grizzlies host the Dallas Mavericks. Get your tickets today at grizzlies.com/tickets or visit the FedEx Forum box office.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at natebargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Jeff Dunham, artificial intelligence, his all-new tour.
Jeff Dunham. You're the other white meat. Wemsy, how can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other?
Well, you're half of it.
I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss a Memphis. Friday, April 10th, FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale Monday, September 29th at jeffdunham.com.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio. We're in FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I sure hope you weren't expecting this Grizzlies season to unfold without incident because you probably heard. On Friday, the Grizz lost to the Lakers. On Sunday, the Grizz lost to the Raptors. In between those two things, Ja Morant was suspended for a game for conduct detrimental to the team. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, around 10:30, Michael Eaves is going to join me. He, of course, hosts SportsCenter for ESPN. I'll get his thoughts on a number of things, including the latest with Ja Morant. We'll do that in about 30 minutes. When I finish talking to Michael Eaves, we're going to take a break, come back, and do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we'll discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Ryan Silverfield's Tigers improved to 8-1 this weekend. 38-14 win over Rice. They're up to number 22 in the AP poll. We will talk Memphis football. We'll do it in about 50 minutes. Ole Miss also improved to 8-1 on the season. 30-14 win over South Carolina this weekend. Lane Kiffin's Rebels are now heavy favorites to make the college football playoff. We'll talk Ole Miss in just a bit. Tennessee and Vanderbilt both lost this weekend, so not a good weekend for SEC schools in the state of Tennessee. We'll dive into that a little later on in the show. Auburn fired Hugh Freeze this weekend. Another big buyout's going to be paid. Auburn needs a football coach. We'll get into that in the third segment. And the 2025-26 college basketball season, it's officially underway. The highlight of the opening day schedule is Florida-Arizona. We'll talk college hoops a little bit during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carryout, and we will call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because, boy, oh boy, it was some kind of weekend for your Memphis Grizzlies. They played 2 games. They lost both of them. And in between them, Ja Morant, the franchise point guard on a $200 million contract, was suspended for a game for what was described as conduct detrimental to the team. Now, let me give you the short version of what's going on here, and then we can expand where necessary.
Okay.
So, first-year Grizz coach Thomas Iselo, I don't know if you've noticed through the early parts of this season, but he does not use traditional NBA rotations. So far this season, it's clear he prefers to play his starters in shorter stints in the spirit on some level of keeping everybody a little more fresh in an attempt on some level to keep the intensity high. According to ESPN's Shams Charania, Ja Morant is not a fan of that specific aspect of Iselo's approach, and at some point, all of this reportedly boiled over. Exactly when or why remains somewhat unclear, but anybody watching Friday night's game against the Lakers saw a totally detached and uninterested Ja Morant in the second half of that contest when the Lakers erased what was once a 15-point deficit to pull away and win 117-112. At the half, Ja had 8 points, 4 assists, and the Grizzlies had a 14-point lead. But in the second half, he stopped attacking with the ball, stopped moving without it. He never scored again. Former NBA star Blake Griffin criticized, very respectfully, but still criticized Ja's effort and leadership on Prime Video after the game. The Daily Memphian's Chris Harrington, he called what he saw from Ja in the second half, quote, quiet quitting. And apparently, Grizz coach Thomas Iselo didn't mince words in the locker room, which led to, according to Shams Charania, Ja Morant responding in a way that was deemed inappropriate. Then Ja had a rough post-game media availability where he nearly answered every question with "ask the coaching staff," and then eventually explained that based on what he had just heard from his own coaching staff, maybe the best thing the Grizzlies could have done against the Lakers on Friday night would have been not play him at all. After that, the next day, Ja was suspended for one game for conduct detrimental to the team. He is expected to return for tonight's game against the Pistons, 7 o'clock, inside FedEx Forum. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com. Big Bet Bennett, I think that more or less gets us up to date. So. Before I expand, let me get your thoughts on the events. Let's just call them the events of the weekend.
Oh, I mean, it's obviously super. I think the biggest disappointment about it all is it was 2 games they had they should have won both of those games. You know what I mean? If none of this happens, they're probably looking at a 2-0 weekend. I mean, like you said, they were up 13 points at halftime of that Lakers game. 14 points.
15 in the first.
And here's the thing. Like, he was obviously detached, like you said, in the second half of that game. He never drove to the rim once, I don't think. The whole second half of that game, he was standing outside the huddles. We saw they were still within reach. Like, as bad as they were in the second half of that game, they were still within reach until late. Like, they could have won that game if it doesn't go down like that.
To your point, if Ja Morant doesn't, for whatever reason, shut down in the second half, it's totally reasonable to assume the Grizzlies would close out that win, leading by 14 at the half. In other words, give me a second half line, Grizzlies-Lakers the other night. I promise you the Grizz were favored to win the game with 24 minutes left. He shuts down, they lose the game. He gets suspended. Cam Spencer starting at point guard in Toronto. Yeah. You lose that game. To your point, yes, and this needs to be made note of. It is possible that the way he acted in the second half of that game cost the Grizzlies 2 wins.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, Jaren only had 2 points in the second half of that Lakers game, and they came late when it was well out of reach, so that's worth pointing out as well. But again, this obviously with Ja and the suspension, like that hurts you. That hurts you.
So let's circle back a little bit because the root of this is reportedly Thomas Iselo's substitution patterns. It's possibly more than that, but according to Shams Charania, who is the preeminent NBA insider at ESPN, the root of this is Thomas Iselo's substitution patterns. Like I said earlier, he does not handle things in a traditional way. And Ja Morant reportedly is not a fan of this very specific thing. For those who don't know, a standard NBA rotation, because I realize we might be getting a little inside basketball here. A standard NBA rotation for a star, on average, depending on the player and the coach and age and other things, is going to be roughly 4 sessions, somewhere between 30 and 36 minutes per game. 4 sessions, 8 or 9 minutes per session, totaling about 30 to 36 minutes a game. So for the purposes of this conversation we're having right now, let's split the difference and say that a standard NBA game for a star in his prime is 4 sessions of about 8 or 9 minutes, totaling about 33 minutes. That's normal in the NBA. Now, let's just go back to the last win the Grizzlies had, which was last Wednesday night against the Suns, and highlight the difference between that normal rotation I just laid out for you and what Thomas Iselo is doing with Ja Morant. In that game against Phoenix, Ja Morant, he played 7 different sessions, not just 4, totaling 32 minutes. But he never played longer than 5 minutes and 18 seconds at a time. I could run you through all of the details. I've got them here in my computer. But in the spirit of brevity, just know that against the Suns, Ja Morant played 31 minutes and 33 seconds in 7 different sessions, none of which were longer than 5 minutes and 18 seconds at a time. Reportedly, Ja would rather play longer periods of time and perhaps just more in general. Somebody should ask him later today. I'd like to hear his answer. Either way, to be clear, this does seem to be a point of contention. Mm-hmm. And everything else that happened on Friday night was reportedly launched from a place of that friction. Did it appear something was said or done at halftime because Ja undeniably shut down in the second half? And then things reportedly boiled over after the game, and now here we are. And I guess the way I'd bottom line it is by just saying if you have issues with your coach, you absolutely should address them, particularly when you're the star of this thing. But not like that. Not like that. You talk on the plane. You talk privately. You get dinner. Whatever. But no matter how frustrated you are, no matter how ridiculous you think some things might be, you can't do what, again, Chris Harrington described as quiet quitting in the second half of a Friday night game against the Lakers on Prime Video, because undeniably, it's not a good look. That's not the way to respond. Ja isn't, to be clear, the first basketball player to ever do it. Kobe Bryant, famously, Game 7, 2006 playoffs against the Suns. Shut down.
God, that's true.
Shut down, stopped shooting, presumably because he got tired of hearing people say you need to pass the ball. Okay, I'll pass the ball every time. You guys think I don't need to be the one taking these shots? All right, let's let other people take them. So this is not unprecedented to do something like this, but it is unusual, and it is wrong. Because when you do it, you cost your team. You cost yourself. And then you have national analysts, traditional media, local media, former players, even many of your own fans, your real ride or dies. They start trashing your effort, questioning everything about you, including whether you really want to be in Memphis the way you say you want to be in Memphis. These are all things that are out there now. Did you see the Blake Griffin stuff, by the way?
I did after the fact. Yeah, I didn't see it in real time because we were doing post-game, but yeah, I did go back and watch it.
What's fascinating is that Blake did not know what was going on in the Grizzlies locker room. And I'm assuming the folks in the Grizzlies locker room did not know what was going on with Prime Video. But based on all of the reporting, it is reasonable to believe that perhaps with a different tone and different words, but everything Thomas Iselo and the coaching staff was saying to Ja Morant after the game, the sentiment was probably pretty close to what Blake Griffin was saying on television after the game. He was doing it as respectfully as he could. You could see he was in this uncomfortable situation where I don't want to be the analyst trashing a superstar, a fellow player, because I didn't like it when Charles Barkley did it to me.
Yeah. He's also got the history with Memphis, right? Yeah.
You could tell he knew what he wanted to say, but he didn't want it to come across the wrong way. He didn't want it to sound mean. He didn't want it to sound cruel, but he wanted to say what he saw. And what he saw was somebody who had no energy and wasn't showing proper leadership. And I just couldn't help but recognize that at the same time Blake is saying these things on TV, it is probably the exact same stuff Ja was hearing in his own locker room. And so whether Ja realized this in real time or not, I bet you on some level he does now. The whole world had the same opinion about what he did in the second half there. We all watched what happened, and we all interpreted it the same way, and everybody thinks it's a wrong way to handle things. And there was an interesting moment where Blake Griffin, sort of toward the end of that clip that went viral, talking about Ja Morant, he looks at Udonis Haslem, who is also in studio, like the culture setter for the Heat on some level for all of those years. And Blake looked at Udonis Haslem and he said, UD, I know you would have had something to say about this situation if you would have been in that locker room, about Ja performing the way he performed in the second half. And to be clear, it's not about missing shots or turning the ball over. It's about no effort. You're not even trying to
You're not taking those shots.
You're not even trying to do the things that
line.
make you special.
Right.
The things that make you special and worthy of a $200 million contract, you're not even trying to do those things. We all saw it. And Blake Griffin looked at Udonis Haslem and said, I know you would have had something to say about this situation if you were in that locker room. Now, as somebody who works on these studio shows, let me tell you exactly what happened there. Because the way these things work, when you are waiting to come back on television, in between games or after games, you are all sitting there watching the game together. And somebody's getting mic'd up again. They're changing batteries in an IFB. They're touching up your makeup. But you're all watching the end of this game, and you're all talking the whole time. And I could just tell you, from a college basketball perspective, we'll be in there sometimes, and a player, it doesn't matter who it is, takes 3 bad shots in overtime. And we're in there like, what is this dumb? And we're just yelling, like, what is it? This coach is a bum. And like, you're just talking. It's very much like you're talking like you're 4 friends sitting at a bar watching a game. And then the cameras come on and you clean it up for TV. But I guarantee you this is what happened. They're all watching that game together, the second half of it. Grizzlies got a 14-point lead at the break. It is evaporating, gone, and Ja Morant's doing nothing. And they are all sitting in that studio going, what is Ja Morant doing? You think, what is Ja Morant doing? And Haslam's like, buddy, if that happened in my locker room, my franchise point guard came out of the second half like that, we'd have a real conversation afterwards. And that's how Blake teased him up at the end. UD, I know if you were in that locker room, you'd have to say something about this situation. You know how Blake knows that?
Because he just said it.
Because he just said it off air.
Right.
Because he just said it off air. It was a bad look. But hopefully, and buddy, when it comes to this stuff, I get so tired of saying hopefully. It looks like we're always looking for the turning point. And I don't know if we've ever gotten there. But hopefully, this can be it. And small as it is, I do think this is possibly a good sign that after being publicly punished by his franchise, there's a lot of different ways you can handle that if you're Ja Morant. And one of the ways he handled it was to, again, small thing, but I found it meaningful, on Instagram post a Go Grizz in his stories, because that is the opposite of shutting down. He shut down in a game on Friday night. He could have shut down the whole weekend. But on Sunday, for whatever reason, somebody can ask him why he did that too. Let him speak for himself. But the way I interpreted that was like I'm still here. I wish all of this wouldn't have happened clearly the way that it did. He's probably seeing the reaction. You know, this was not a good weekend for him. A lot of people who love that guy were starting to turn. Now, they can turn right back around when he goes for 36 tonight and hits another game winner. Wouldn't that be something? But this was not a good weekend for him. And I liked that he posted the Go Grizz thing because it felt like a way of reaching out. It felt like a acknowledgement of, I messed up. That's what it felt like to me. I'll let him speak for himself, but that's what it felt like to me. And I do think it's important to note that whether it's a turning point for Ja Morant or not, we'll see. But it could, on some level, be a turning point for the franchise because they did not have to suspend him. I hope everybody understands that. This is not he did something in the middle of the game. The NBA office hands down a suspension from Midtown Manhattan. That's not what this is. The Grizzlies did this publicly, very publicly, with a brief statement. Conduct detrimental to the team, suspended for a game. They didn't have to suspend him. He did not do anything that was publicly known at the time that would result in what people would say is an automatic suspension. You can't let him get away with that. We all watched the post-game press conference, and we all watched what we watched in the game. But I was online Friday night. There was not this huge sentiment of Ja Morant must be suspended, Ja Morant must be punished. It was, what is he doing? And why did he do that? And oh my God, here we are again. Oh my God, is this really happening? We're just 6 games in and this is what we're dealing with?
Yep.
There was a lot of that, but nobody was saying, or at least I didn't see it, Ja Morant must be suspended for this. But the front office decided to do it publicly. They could have handled this privately. They wanted to handle it publicly. I'm not saying that because anybody told me that. I'm saying that because it's obvious. They made it public. The front office did. And I like that. I like that. I don't like that we're here, but rather than sweep it over here, all right, I hope y'all make up. All right, that was not right, but we got a game, in Toronto. Let's see if we can just move on. Draw a line. Set a new boundary and make it clear it's time to be held accountable. I mean, some will argue, lots will argue, it's past time to be held accountable. But I do think that statement from @Grizzlies PR on Saturday was meaningful. They didn't have to handle this way. They chose to handle this publicly. They chose to publicly punish the face of the franchise for conduct detrimental to the team in a time where they did not have to. It feels like everybody here understands it's time to do something different. It starts with the coaching change on some level. But now here we are again with more problems very early in what we had previously said is one of the most important, if not the most important seasons in Grizzlies history. None of this is ideal. But I think most people would tell you strong franchises sometimes do have to take strong stances, even in uncomfortable ways. And on some level, that appears what this franchise did on Saturday. Am I making too much of it? Or do you acknowledge they could have handled this privately if they wanted to, but they decided to make this a public punishment of Ja Morant?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I agree. Like, they didn't have to. I think that when you get an idea of, like, what happened, that maybe you do have to, like you said, a strong franchise is just going to have to make a stand.
I promise you, players and coaches have yelled at each other in locker rooms throughout the NBA, happened, right. And it does not result in a one-game suspension publicly levied.
Right. I think just the biggest thing is looking past it. Hopefully it is, the end of this and they can find a way to come together and try to set this ship right because, dude, it's still so early in the season, right? Like, and what we do know, the one thing we do know just about this season in front of us right now, they cannot win without him. We know that. We just saw it yesterday. Like, they cannot win without him this season. I think that's fair to say, correct?
He's the key to everything.
Yeah, they cannot win without him this season. So it behooves everybody to be on the same page.
Sure.
If the goal is to win a bunch of games this season.
The last thing I'll say, and then we'll get to Michael Eaves, is that I had not seen this when it initially published, I guess, but I saw our buddy Anthony Sane tweeting links to it over the weekend.
I saw this too.
It was a sit-down interview that Thomas Iselo did with someone earlier in the year, and it was really good because I think sometimes, and I'm guilty of this myself, we think the best way to interview somebody is to have these big, thoughtful questions. And in fact, sometimes it's just be simple and short and direct and ask good questions. You don't have to prove how beautifully you can speak to just ask good questions that get good answers. And the interviewer here was doing exactly that. He was like, what's your offensive philosophy? What's your defensive philosophy? How do you handle a difficult player? Just little things. And then Iselo would just go. It was really interesting. If you're a Grizzlies fan and you want to know how your head coach thinks, it's a good place to find out. Again, it's on Anthony Sain's X feed. So there's one place where he's talking about how to deal with difficult players, and it goes on for several minutes. And after watching that, I don't think it's hard to imagine that exactly what you saw in that clip is what he took into the locker room on Friday night. The way Thomas Iselo explains it is, when you notice something that's not right, acknowledge it, address it, fix it. Don't let things fester. In other words, you see a player who's, I think the term he used, and he was just talking about players broadly speaking, not anybody in specific, but he was like, when you have an asshole on your team, is the way he was talking about it. He's like, you call him on it. Call him on it in front of the team, because everybody else in that locker room is going to know. If the guy's being an asshole, the other guys know it. So let's talk about it. Let's address it. Let's fix it now. And I don't think it's a stretch to assume that that philosophy that is well stated. And if you've heard Iselo talk, he speaks directly and plainly. Everything is just directly and plainly. There's not a lot of nuance in the way he speaks, which I can appreciate. But it can come across as abrasive, I guess, in certain settings. And regardless, it apparently came to a head on Friday night. But I guarantee you, everything he was doing on Friday night is the stuff he told us in that interview he would do if he ever encountered a situation like this, and really told us that he had done before. You don't ever want to have difficult players, but when you have them, address them straightforward. Look them in the eyes. Tell them you're being difficult. Tell them you need to be better. Tell them in front of their teammates, because their teammates know. Let's hold this person accountable collectively. And then it's up to the player, how are you going to respond to that? And it appears that, reportedly, I'll just credit Shams Charania. Shams Charania reported that Ja did not handle it well on Friday night. But if you want to know what the approach is, it's in that interview. He told you early this year, before this season ever started, how he would handle a, quote, difficult player in a difficult situation. It looks like he tried to do that on Friday night, and it blew up into what it blew up into. But can you move past it? I hope so. Because you have to.
Me too.
Because you have to. That's the thing. You have to. Can you move past it? I hope so. Because you have to. And if there's anybody wired to pop back in tonight, go for 30 plus and hit a game winner.
That's right.
In an upset win over the Pistons, like, this is the guy who is wired.
That's right.
Wired to do it. I don't know that I'm predicting it, but it sure would make for a fun Monday night.
I would love that.
Michael Eaves is up next.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball. But the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Grizz Nation, Friday nights just got a whole lot better. Introducing Buckets and Beers, the ultimate way to tip off your weekend. Every Friday this season, grab a terrace-level ticket to the Grizz game and 2 12-ounce Miller Lights for just $55. Get great seats, cold brews, and Grizzlies basketball. It's everything you need to start your weekend off right. So get the deal that's too cold to hold. Go to grizzlies.com/Friday to lock in your tickets today. Check this out. Last season in the NBA, there were 139 40-point games. We're like 5 days in, 6 days in, and we have had 16 already. It is on pace for over 300 40-point games.
Holy crap.
Sheesh.
That would be the pace.
Yeah.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough studio, and on Mondays in the second segment, I'm joined by Michael Eaves, who, of course, among other things, hosts SportsCenter for ESPN. He's here right now. Michael Eaves, the Grizzlies lost on Friday, lost on Sunday. In between, our franchise point guard was suspended for a game. How was your weekend?
Much better than his, and I had Saturday off, so it was all good.
I'm always interested to get an outsider's thoughts on our headlines here in Memphis. Ja Morant suspended once again, this time for one game for, quote, conduct detrimental to the team after what most people believe was shutting things down in the second half against the Lakers, and then a locker room confrontation or blow up of some sort with the coaching staff that led to an awkward media availability.
Grizzly fans can take their emotional attachment out of this situation and look at it from a very non-biased viewpoint. Here is what history has shown. Ja Morant is an A1 talent in the best basketball league in the world. He is nowhere near, however, an A1 leader to professional sports. His behavior multiple times has indicated that he is incapable of understanding what his presence means, both on the court and off the court. He has shown complete disregard for any understanding of what he means to the overall success of that franchise. He has done it repeatedly, and he has done it in the wake of suspension. He has done it to people outside the organization and inside the organization and multiple coaches. So what you feel for him from a fan standpoint, because of the emotion that he has brought to you with his play, he is clearly not the leader that this organization needs.
Is that something that can change? Is that something that you can flip a switch and be a different person?
At this point, Gary, what would it take for it to change?
Yeah, I don't have great answers for you. Yeah.
I mean, think about how many times he's been in trouble with the league, how much money it has cost him, and he's still doing things of this nature to question his overall understanding of what it means to be a professional basketball player in 2025, and more specifically to Memphis, a leader of that basketball team. All right. What else needs to happen for him to understand that, to where his behavior would change? I don't know what that is at this point. And quite frankly, how worse could it get to where he has to understand? Because I don't want to think about what that possibility is.
Yeah, like I think it could probably be pretty dismissive for an NBA player, particularly an NBA superstar, to listen to me talk or, traditional media talk. I wonder if you think it matters when the former players, former stars, are largely agreeing with what everybody else is seeing. Like, it was Blake Griffin, Udonis Haslem, Dirk Nowitzki, calling him out on Friday night. Do you think that resonates or matters at all when it's other players, other men who have been great at this saying, come on, Ja, that's not it, man?
Gary, they've been saying that.
Yeah.
They said that about the incident at the strip club in Denver. They said it about the incident a couple days later, whatever that was, in the car. They said it even when his family members were getting involved into incidents that led him to go out and allegedly threaten some guy who worked in a retail shop. They've said it the entire time. So clearly he doesn't care that much about the opinion of other people.
Talking to Michael Eaves here from ESPN. So he's expected to return tonight. He's wired in a way where he could come out, be spectacular, and they upset the Pistons tonight, and we wake up tomorrow, and whether everything's good or not, we'll pretend that it is. But just what do you expect? Are you going to be in studio tonight, hosting SportsCenter? If Ja Morant plays a big game and the Grizzlies win, where does that factor in, given everything else that's going with him in a SportsCenter rundown?
Well, obviously, it depends on what happens in Monday Night Football.
Sure.
That obviously trumps everything. But it will. I'm sure it will be featured quite prominently in the rundown, especially to your point, if he has a great game. Because of all the controversy, now you want to see how does he respond.
Yeah.
And you were right. He is wired differently. Clearly, there is a great amount of 0 Fs in his system, right? So he clearly has that. So then can he turn that into a positive in this particular situation, coming off yet another controversy, and lead his team, which would be a huge win for them this part of the season over a Detroit Pistons team that's gotten off to a great start. So if he can do that, then yeah, it's going to be a thing. Why are Grizzly fans always waiting to see how he responds to controversy?
I understand.
Why is that a thing? Like, if here's what you want as a fan. You want the leaders and best players in your team to care about their team as much as you do, right? And if you are a Grizzlies fan, what makes you think he cares as much about your team as you do based on his history? And here's the thing. I hate seeing this because I think he's a tremendous talent. He was well on his way to being the face of the league at a time where that void was going to be quite noticeable. He just threw it all away. What? For clout? For cred? Like, for what? And it's disappointing for fans and for people like me who's a fan of the league. And I want to see the greatness the league can offer. And Ja Morant is part of that greatness. But for whatever reason, he doesn't care enough about it, or he just can't say no to things that do not matter in the grand scheme of his life and his career.
Speaking on possible faces of the league, we might be headed for Victor Wembanyama. He is off to a tremendous start.
Oh, no question. We are headed. There's no question about that.
Yeah, this is my way of switching gears. He's averaging 26.7 points, 13.7 rebounds. And beyond that, like winning games, but doing things that we have quite literally never seen somebody his size do, whether it's the way he bounces the ball or anything else. What are you making of what we're seeing? And are you on board with the idea of this guy has a chance to go down as, yeah, there's Michael Jordan, there's LeBron, there's Kareem. This guy's going to be right there with them.
He definitely has the chance. There's no question about that based on the start to his professional career and the skill set that he has at this current age. And this is not prime Wemby yet. Right? Like basketball says, you're not prime when you're this age. You're prime maybe 5 years down the road from that, where you have your complete arsenal, full maturity, the whole deal. So he is on an ascent that could be the greatest of all time. There's no question about that. But clearly a lot of things have to happen. He has to stay healthy, things of that nature. But it's somewhat hard to fully grasp what we're seeing because it is so unique. And the thing is, probably the most skilled generation of basketball players we've had. I'm not saying they're the best athletes. I'm not saying they're the best players of all time, but from an overall skill set, this is the best generation of basketball players. But he's doing it at a height that was taller than Kareem and taller than Wilt Chamberlain. And so that's why it's so unique and hard to grasp, because we just can't fully understand something we've never seen to this level. But that's also what makes him such a star. Like the greatest athletes of all time typically have tantalized us, Gary, with things we've never seen before. at a level that's hard for us to comprehend. And that's what this kid is doing. Michael Jordan played basketball in a way that most of us had never seen before, or Wilt before that, or the way Tiger Woods played golf, the way Barry Bonds hit a baseball. Like, they all did things that we hadn't seen before. And even some of the all-time greats are like, that's some stuff I've never seen before. And that's what's making him such a star in the league. And people are saying, someone was making the argument on social media that every one of his games should be on national television because you don't know what he's going to do night to night. I understand that argument, but that's also what makes him must-see TV, because you literally have no idea what you're going to see from him every single night.
Speaking personally, I am at the point where when I'm sitting at home and I've got the multi-screen stuff going and I've got League Pass and I'm just putting things on screens, if Wemby is playing, he's on one of the screens. I don't care who they're
100%.
playing. I just put him on because I want my kids to walk by and see it. I want to pay attention to what he's doing. He's a unique talent unlike anything we've ever seen. Meantime, every NBA team at this point has played like 6 or 7 games. Only one is undefeated. It is the reigning champs, Oklahoma City. They're 7-0, and their second best player hasn't appeared in a game yet. They are really operating on another level, aren't they?
Yeah, and look, it's just further proof of what they proved last year.
Right.
They have the best overall team. Right now, you can argue who's the best player in the league today, but they do have a reigning MVP on the world championship team. But it's more than about SGA, clearly. It's about the overall composition of that roster. So again, you got to give all the credit in the world to Sam Presti, who put together a roster that was capable of contending for a championship. They finally broke through last year with the league MVP, and now they're coming back the very next year, and they're off to their second straight 7-0 start. And without their second best player, to your point. So that tells you the overall strength of that entire roster. And also, Gary, guys understanding and then buying into their roles. Sometimes at this level, that is hard to do. But the teams that are truly great seemingly always have that dynamic with their roster, that every guy can't be SGA. Every guy can't be Jalen Williams. But Isaiah Hartenstein can be this guy, Cason Wallace can be this guy, and all the way down the roster. And they buy in and accept that role because they understand that at the end of it, it could be greatness with an NBA championship, and that's what they proved last year.
Couple of things in the NFL yesterday. Bills over the Chiefs, and Josh Allen is now 5-1 in the regular season against Patrick Mahomes. What, if anything, does that mean to you?
Nothing, because he's 0-4 and gets them in the playoffs.
Okay.
I mean, it's great for the Bills and them winning their division and trying to get the best seeds, obviously, when it gets to the playoffs. But until you beat him head-to-head in the playoffs, even Josh Allen would tell you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens in the regular season, because right now, on November 3rd or 4th, whatever the date is, by the time we get to January 8th, we may not remember that game necessarily if they don't play each other in the playoffs, right? So it doesn't matter to that degree, but in that one-on-one matchup, in terms of who's the best quarterback and all that stuff, you do against him in the playoffs. Because Patrick Mahomes was measured against Tom Brady in the playoffs. Peyton Manning was measured against Tom Brady in the playoffs. That's where it matters. History has proven that. So all due respect to Josh, till you beat Pat in the playoffs, it doesn't matter.
And is that the best thing we can get in the AFC? Just another Buffalo, Kansas City meeting at some point, Allen and Mahomes again?
Probably, just because of name recognition and rivalry history. Everybody can get behind that. You do want to see some new blood come in there here and again. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens seemingly don't have it this year because, A, he's been injured, but also they just even look like that team when he was fully healthy at the beginning of the season. I think the Colts story has been phenomenal, especially with Jonathan Taylor running the way he has been until yesterday against the Steelers. That would be fun too. But look, we love stars. I say it all the time. We're a star-driven society, especially when it comes to sports, and there's no two bigger ones in the NFL than Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
Last thing before I get you out of here, wild ending between Cincinnati and Chicago. As I'm watching this live, I have this thought. My little guy is in 8-year-old football, and among the first things they teach is you can't just hit, you have to wrap up. We're telling 8-year-olds that every Tuesday and Thursday at practice, you have to wrap up. How did they not wrap up and let that end the way it ended? Because it really could cost them a playoff spot under the idea that Joe Burrow's coming back someday.
Yes. Sometimes I have to remind people that it's actually tackle football when we played as a kid. It's not hit football.
Right.
But based on how highlights are driven, had generations of this now. Some of the biggest highlights are hits on a football field, not a tackle. And there were two guys in particular on that play that led to the Bears touchdown try to hit instead of tackle. And when you try to hit instead of tackle, you better guarantee that hit brings that person to the ground. If not, then you are dependent on someone else to make the tackle, and that is not guaranteed. And that's exactly what happened to the Bengals in that game. There's no reason, based on where they were in the field, that a touchdown could have been scored in that situation, simply because, to fundamentals, your point, they didn't do it. They hit, they didn't tackle.
Absolutely incredible. That is Michael Eaves from ESPN. Catch him on SportsCenter later tonight. He's on X at Michael Eaves. That's at Michael Eaves. You're the best, buddy. I appreciate your time, and good luck this college basketball season. We're getting underway today.
Go Blue.
Go Big Blue. I'll see you. That's Michael Eaves from ESPN. When we come back, turn our attention to college football. Did I tell you the Tigers would have no problem with the Owls?
You did say that.
Tigers had no problem with
that.
the Owls. It was a blowout on Halloween. So Memphis is now 8-1, up to number 22 in the AP poll, still projected to represent the group of five in the college football playoff. Ole Miss won. Tennessee and Vanderbilt lost. Hugh Freeze got fired. We'll talk college football next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis. Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Now that's the new edition way.
I feel like there's another level we can take it to.
What you think, Mike? 2 steps ahead of you, Slick.
What's good, bro?
What you doing, man?
I'm in.
Woman, you don't even know what I'm getting ready to ask you.
Here's the vision. All 3 of us on the same stage every night. Gonna be crazy.
No barriers, no separation. It'll be like 9 kings and a queen.
The next level starts now.
Calling all collectors! Topps NBA basketball trading cards are back. It's available in the Grizzlies Den by Fanatics and online at Topps.com. Rip into bold color parallels, electric inserts, relics, and autographed cards from today's biggest stars and the next gen talent. Look out for rookie cards of Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper, plus Grizzlies favorites John Morant, Jalen Wells, and so many more. You don't want to miss this drop. Grab your set before it's gone.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled. And Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's OrthoSouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Ryan Silverfield's Tigers improved to 8-1 this weekend. 38-14 victory over Rice on Halloween. Scary stuff for the Owls. No match for the Tigers, just as I predicted.
Yeah, I mean, I think all 100 people in attendance were probably disappointed at the loss for the Owls, but we had to take care of it. I did think that the Tigers did take it easy on them. They did. They could have won that game. They could have put up 60 in that game.
Could have done whatever we wanted.
If they wanted to. They for sure let up a little bit, which is kind.
It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing to do. When you're a Tiger and your opponent is an Owl,
yeah,
letting up can be an act of kindness.
No, I was just glad that they went in there and took care of business immediately. That game was never in doubt. It's how it had to go down, because it was eerily similar. Keep in mind that UAB game, there was nobody in the crowd for that game,
and they were a bigger favorite against UAB than they were against.
And so I was like, oh God,
Rice.
I hope this doesn't get weird, but it did not at all.
It didn't get weird. In fact, it was never anything but convincing.
Right.
So now they're 8-1 with vulnerable Tulane coming into Simmons Bank Friday night.
Is that what we're calling them now?
Vulnerable Tulane.
Vulnerable Tulane?
Yeah,
okay.
They're vulnerable.
They're teetering. That's
yeah,
fine.
They're vulnerable.
Yeah.
People act like, ooh, Tulane, Greenway. They're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Vulnerable Tulane.
Fair enough. It is, these last 3 games, they're all interesting in their own right. Like, it's not, none of them are gimmies. Tulane's been a good team. They obviously, stumbled a little bit on the way here this season, but they're still a good team in your conference. So,
they're vulnerable.
They're vulnerable. Then you got to go to East Carolina. They're playing well in the AAC. They're playing well in the conference. Then Navy's still undefeated. Navy's just still undefeated out there.
I'm not worried about anything.
Okay. All right.
I fear no man.
Fair enough.
I fear no American man.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Up to number 22 in the AP poll. Opened as a 6.5-point favorite against vulnerable Tulane. That number's now down.
That's hilarious.
The number's now down to 5.5.
Oh, wait. Navy lost. Wait, did they lose this weekend? They sure as hell. They lost at North Texas this weekend.
Bennett, you see what I'm saying? They're vulnerable themselves.
That was setting up to be a huge game,
They're
too. Come on, man.
Bennett, it can still be a huge game. The game to propel you into the American title game, to keep you in position to represent the group of 5 in the college football playoff. It can still be huge.
It can still be huge.
We will not let Navy's vulnerability impact how big of a game we have in our regular season finale.
Yeah, and I respect the Navy. Don't get it twisted. But at the same time,
I respect the Navy. I'm going there Thursday.
I know.
I'm going to the Naval Academy on Thursday. I'm going to scout it out.
Well, here's what
I'm going to go up to Annapolis on Thursday. I'm going to get a good look at what's going on up there. And then I'll come back and report to you.
Okay, I mean, and if you could just let them know, it would have been nice when they come in here in a couple of weeks to have a number next to their name. That's all.
Don't know why Navy couldn't have a number next to the name.
Yeah.
Not built for it. Vulnerable. A little bit like Tulane.
Yeah.
They remind me a little bit like Tulane. A little vulnerable. A little more vulnerable than you realized.
Mm-hmm.
So, up to number 22 in the AP poll. 37th now at Massey ratings. Computer's still lagging a little bit behind. But only 3 regular season games left on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Friday at home against vulnerable Tulane.
Yep.
November 15th on the road against East Carolina. And then November 27th at home against Navy. The Tigers are currently projected to be favorites in each of those games. If they handle business, just do what you're supposed to do. Just do what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
Just like I'm talking to my kids. Just do what you're supposed to do. Life's not hard if you just do what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to win these games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not asking you to go beat Oregon. I'm not asking you to go beat Kurt Signetti. I'm asking you to beat vulnerable Tulane, some Pirates from the eastern part of the Carolinas,
mm-hmm.
in the United States Naval Academy. That's all I'm asking you to do. You're capable of doing it.
Okay.
You're expected to do it. Go do what you're supposed to do. Handle business. And if you handle business, the Tigers will finish the regular season 11-1 overall, 7-1 in the American, and still be on track to represent the group of 5 in the 12-team college football playoff. You seen the latest projections? CBS, ESPN?
Who we playing?
Oh, we going to Athens. We going down there to give Kirby Smart some business.
I don't. Here's why
that could get tough.
But the thing is I actually do, because what was it a few weeks ago? It was Ole Miss, wasn't it? It was Ole Miss.
But then Ole Miss.
That's right. But I like kind of where this thing's. I like staying in this part of the country because it gives the Memphis fans the opportunity to go.
Let's go down to Athens and give it to Kirby Smart a little bit.
That would be my dream scenario. If they were to make the college football playoff, I hope it's against an SEC team so Memphis fans are able to go to the game.
Kirby Smart ain't going to know what hit him. ESPN and CBS both have it. First round 12 versus 5 matchup. 12 seed Memphis.
We've ever played Georgia?
12
I'm sure
seed.
we have.
12 seed Memphis at 5 seed Georgia. There is one projection out there that actually has Memphis as the 11 seed with the ACC champ slotting behind the Tigers. But more than likely, I would assume Memphis would be the 12 seed. That's typically the way this thing is going to go. And so we would get Memphis, Georgia, according to current projections at ESPN and CBS.
Last time, don't look at the screen.
Kirby Smart is not going to know what hit him.
Last time Memphis and Georgia played a football game against each other.
I must say Chuck Stobart was involved.
It would be, I don't have that information in front of me, but it would be the 1984 college football season was the last time that Memphis and Georgia, they played each other twice ever. Georgia 2-0, played 1982 through 1984.
What season was that?
82 through 84. I guess 84 was the last year they played. Georgia 2-0 all time.
Yeah, that's going to predate Chuck Stobart a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think technically I have failed a trivia time. But either way.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It'd be fun right up until the game kicked off, maybe.
You don't know that.
I don't know
That's
that.
why they play it on the field,
That's why they play the game on the field.
Play it on the field.
That's why they play it on the field. No, it would be fun. It would be we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Give me the day.
Hell yeah. Give me the T-shirt.
Give me the week. I'm not going to say I don't care what happens after kickoff. Obviously, I do. But regardless of what happens after kickoff, you get the day.
Yes.
You get the week. You get the build-up. It's about the journey, Bennett.
Yeah. You get the biggest game in Memphis football history.
It's about the build-up.
Yeah, man.
You got to be... Yeah. Most analysts are going to predict, if we get there, that things are not going to go well for the Tigers at Georgia in the first round of the college football playoff, right? But think about all the things that would have to go beautifully in advance of that moment. Probably win out, conference championship. All these things you get to celebrate on the way to that. And then whatever happens there, happens there.
It's about the journey, man.
It's about the journey, Bennett.
Yep.
Let's enjoy the journey. The Tigers are 8-1 with vulnerable Tulane coming in on Friday.
Number 2.
Ole Miss won. They bounced back.
Okay.
Got a nice victory to improve to 8-1 on the season, 30-14 win over South Carolina following the victory at Oklahoma. The lone loss on the resume is at Georgia, 43-35. And we got a long way to go, or at least a little ways to go. But Ole Miss is, at this point, considered nearly as much of a lock as anybody for the college football playoff because they're sitting here with only one loss. They're ranked in the top 10. And the remaining games are Saturday at home against the Citadel.
Jesus.
Can handle that.
Poor Citadel.
November 15th at home against a Florida team that has fired its coach.
Yep.
Now, they might be better without Billy Napier than they were with Billy Napier. That's what some were suggesting on Saturday when they, played Georgia pretty good. But anytime you can get a team at home that has previously fired its coach midseason, you should be able to knock that out if you're a legitimate top 10 team. And then it's November 28th at Mississippi State, and that can, those Egg Bowl can get weird. And,
that'll be fun.
But barring a surprise right now, Ole Miss is going to be in the college football playoff. In fact, in the betting markets, minus 1,050 Ole Miss to make the college football playoff. Memphis is still plus money to make the college football playoff. Just to provide some context, because even though Memphis is the favorite among Group of 5 schools, there's still a lot of different things that could happen.
Yeah, I believe USF right now is either them or North Texas are ahead of Memphis, maybe both.
In the betting markets?
Yes.
But not in the computer projections.
Yeah.
Not in the computer projections. So Ole Miss, minus 1,050 to make the college football playoff. They are going to be projected to win each of these final 3 games. So just like Memphis, if Ole Miss handles what it's supposed to handle throughout the rest of this regular season, the Rebels are going to finish the regular season 11-1, ranked in the top 10, and at that point, absolutely on the way to the college football playoff. Good stuff down in Oxford. And one last thing, because we're at a point where Lane Kiffin's name is getting attached to not every job opening, but some of the big ones, LSU and Florida. Did you see the Marty Smith piece about Lane Kiffin finding himself and life balance and all this stuff in Oxford, Mississippi? It was one of those like, Lane Kiffin is a different guy than you remember. And once the brash and this thing at Tennessee and this thing at USC, He's now a different man, a different father, a different coach, a different everything in Oxford, Mississippi, where he has finally found a good place in life or something. I'm sure it was a good story. My point is this. Lane retweeted it and was like, I love you, Marty, like a brother, one of those things. My point being, you just don't do these types of things if you are genuinely thinking about leaving with one foot out the door. You don't play around like that because your fans are living and dying with this stuff.
For sure.
Like I have friends who are living and dying with the future of Lane Kiffin. And if there's even a part of you that thinks you're on your way out, you don't quote tweet a prominent television reporter talking about how your life is better than it's ever been, in part because you found the home in Oxford, Mississippi. You don't quote tweet that, bring attention to it, and then bounce in a month or two. I don't think. Obviously, things can change, but most indications right now is that he's going to use all of these big job openings and his superpower agent to create as much leverage as he could possibly create to get the best deal he can possibly get in every way you can shape a deal at the University of Mississippi, and then he'll just stay there. That is what most people believe will happen. That's what I think will happen. Do you agree? You think that's what happens?
Yes, I do.
I think that's what happens.
Yeah.
I don't want to say.
I think he wants to make sure that he can have the roster that he wants as well at Ole Miss.
This is the time to do it.
Yeah.
This is the time to do it. I can tell you, like on the college basketball side, there was a prominent coach several years ago. And he was a candidate for a job, and it was out there. And, I'm getting called on TV every day to talk about it. We're talking about it on the podcast. I'm writing about it. It's out there. Is he going to leave and take this job? I finally get this coach on the phone. He's someone I've known for a while. And he was like, GP, I'm going to level with you. Like, we're off the record. You cannot report this. You cannot tweet this. I am not taking this job. All right? I know people think I'm on the verge, and I'm not taking the job. I don't want the job. I never wanted the job. But I'm using this job to get everything out of my current employer. He'd been asking for things, assistant coaches, raises. Hey, my assistant coaches are making $300. I want them to make $450. And they'd like a little pushback. I'm getting all that done right here. Because I'm sitting down with my athletic director, my president. I'm saying, well, here's what they're offering. This new school over here, I told them my assistant coaches pool needs to be $1.5 million so that I can give 3 assistant coaches $500 each. And they said, okay. So what are you going to do? Because that's what they told me they'll do. This coach told me I'm using this job to get everything I want from my current employer that they've been fighting me on. And once I get it in writing, then I'll text you and you can tweet that I'm decided to stay where I'm at. But that's what's happening right now. I have no interest in leaving, but I have all the interest in making my current job the best job it could possibly be and taking care of the people around me. Often it's that stuff. It's like, I'd like to make $13 million instead of $9 million. But more than that, I want my assistant coaches to make 1.4 instead of 700, 2.2 instead of 1.1, whatever. I'm just making up numbers. And I bet you that's what Lane Kiffin ends up doing. Staying quiet mostly, letting everybody else talk about his future, debate, wonder, get scared. Just stay quiet, keep coaching your football team. Use the very public nature of this stuff to create leverage in Oxford, to make it where when you sign your next contract with the University of Mississippi, it is the best contract any coach has ever signed in the entire state of Mississippi in the history of the world. That's what you have to do. I bet that's what he does. And if so, I'd be happy for my Ole Miss friends and family because they've got a nice thing going down there right now, and I'd like to see it continue.
Number 3.
Bad week. SEC schools in the state of Tennessee. Vanderbilt lost. Tennessee lost. And the Vols.
Memphis did not.
Tennessee schools in the SEC. Memphis is not in the SEC.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
But I hear your point. Anytime you want to shout the time, I understand.
Best school in the state. I'm just kidding. Nah.
I mean,
it's all good. Vandy's probably the best school in the state still.
They're coming off a loss.
Yeah.
Vol's coming off a loss. And Tennessee's now got 3 losses and probably
they're
probably done.
Yeah, it's done as far as that goes. Yeah, they're not getting the college football playoff.
So how do you handle this? Because I saw last night Dan Wolken was going a little bit back with our old friend Wes Rucker, right? Wes covers Tennessee. Dan, of course, is at Yahoo Sports. And I like both of those guys. I think they're both terrific at what they do. But they were kind of going back and forth a little bit. Like Wes was like, well, when your fans think this is the year and you're going back to the playoff and then, first week of November, it's basically done. Your fans are going to be disappointed. And Wolken's kind of like, yeah, I get it. But like, okay, what? But then what? Frustrated, and then what? Bring Josh Heupel back and he's on the hot seat? And what are you doing? Like, this guy, your football program was down bad for a while. He got it back to a good place.
Yes.
And I know this season hasn't been what it was supposed to be, but you can't just turn on your coaches every time you have a bad month.
No, and I heard Vernon talking about this the other day. Like, it is a weird time in college football because, like, you saw James Franklin gets fired this year. Billy Napier gets fired this year. Like, these are James Franklin's a good coach, right? Like, Mike Norvell could happen. I think we think these guys are good coaches, right? They've won big in college football, but it's like when things go wrong, that's the guy that gets the blame. But now in this new era that we're in and with NIL, like, it's like you're as good as your roster is.
I just think at some point we have gotten to a place where we are overreacting to everything. And it's like, okay, Penn State, you're fed up because you thought you were going to win a national championship, and now you just lost a third game early in the season. I get you're frustrated, but you're paying a lot of money to get rid of a good coach.
Uh-huh.
Are you sure your next coach is going to be as good as your last one? I know you're frustrated. He had a bad month, but he had a good decade and a bad month. And I know he didn't win the big games and all. I got it. I understand all the criticism of James Franklin. But he ran a pretty consistently really good program for a long time. Then he had a bad month. And you pull the trigger on him. And it cost you tens of millions of dollars. And it cost you tens of millions of dollars to get rid of him. It's going to cost you tens of millions of dollars to get the next guy. And who's the next guy? It ain't Kurt Cignetti. It ain't Matt Rule.
Right.
So
You're seeing it kind of with Dabo and Clemson. Like, you really want to move on from that guy?
I mean, I do understand you get to a point, and we might be there with Dabo at Clemson, where it's just gotten too it's just time.
Ugly, yeah.
It's just gotten ugly and toxic, and it's time to go. Mike might be in that situation down at Florida State, right? It's gotten too ugly and toxic. But I really do think you could take these guys, just throw them at each other's jobs, and it'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just take James Franklin and put him at Auburn, and then take Mike Norvell and put him at Oklahoma State. Then take Mike Gundy and put him at Virginia Tech. And, like, we probably all are right where we need to be. Take Dabo and put him at, wherever. And then these guys, they don't all get stupid overnight. They don't all forget how to coach one year to the next. I think it's just that we are in a new era of college sports that is probably more competitive than most other eras because of NIL and revenue sharing and the transfer portal. And the margins are so much thinner. And we have tons of fan bases that haven't caught up to that yet. So it's like, we're not supposed to be losing like this. Well, somebody has to lose.
Somebody has to lose.
Right. I mean, you look at the SEC. Every SEC football program is paying millions of dollars to coaching staffs and players.
Outside of like 3 schools, everyone is expected to go to the college football playoff.
Every one of them is paying millions of dollars to put together coaching staffs and teams. And by millions, I mean tens of millions. All right? To your point, most of them think they should make a 12-team college football playoff more often than not. They can't. It's impossible. Literally impossible. So what do you do when the thing that can't happen, because it's impossible, doesn't happen? Everybody just fire their coaches all the time? we're going to have to course correct some of this.
Yeah.
You're going to have to ride some things out, the ups and the downs, because you can't keep pulling the trigger like this as often as you do. And we'll get to that in the next one, story number 4. But like the idea that those whispers could even be slightly connected to Josh Heupel seems crazy to me. Like 3 months ago, you wouldn't trade your coach for anybody. And now you're like, I don't know if he's the right guy. I mean, really? Because in the toughest football league in the country, it's starting to pile up on you a little bit. Oh, don't ever forget he lost his quarterback in the preseason.
Right.
It's a weird time in college football right now. I don't know that college basketball is going to replicate it, but in college football, it has gotten wild. The level of patience fan bases and administrations have with coaches who have high expectations but don't meet them, it's as short as it's ever been.
Yep.
And this next story would maybe be a reminder of that.
Number 4.
Hugh Freeze is out at Auburn. Not even 3 full seasons. He was 9 games into year 3, 15-19 overall, 6-16 in the SEC, and now he's out. That's a guy who, for a little while, won everywhere he was.
Yep.
Put him at Lambeth. He goes 20-5 in 2 years. Arkansas State, 10-2 in 1 year. Take him to Ole Miss. Awesome stuff there. Gets the Liberty job after things go sideways at Oxford. At Liberty, he's 34-15. And then it just doesn't happen. It sort of falls under the umbrella of what we were just talking about. Somebody has to lose. In the SEC, you just go through it. Which of these programs is comfortable losing? You tell me.
Okay.
Florida.
No.
Kentucky.
Sure.
Middle of the pack, Tennessee.
No.
Okay. Vanderbilt.
Sure.
Alabama.
No.
Ole Miss.
Not now.
Not now.
I think there's an expectation there.
Mississippi State.
Yes.
You are what you are.
They don't care. Yeah.
Missouri. Not really now. I think that's the type of school where you can have the ups and downs.
Yes. You can, as long as you're consistently going to bowl games and stuff. Yeah.
Arkansas.
No.
They're just,
I think they kind of know how it is right now.
Auburn.
They expect to win.
Texas A&M.
Expect to win.
Texas.
Yeah, of course.
Georgia.
Expect to win.
LSU.
Yep.
Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of those schools. Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, A&M, Texas, Georgia, LSU, Oklahoma. 9 of them. At least 9 of them think they should be in the college football playoff every year.
Yep.
Impossible. So what do you do when you have set the standard at impossible? Hey, so what has to happen for all of these schools to be happy with the way things are going? Well, those 9 have to make the college football playoff. It's impossible. It can't happen. So now what? You've set a standard that's impossible. So you're never going to meet it. So what do? Just fire?
Expand the playoff.
I mean, we are headed there. Probably.
Expand the playoff.
We probably are headed there. But then you'll just move the bar. It'll be like, and we haven't made the second round of the playoffs since.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
Just you have a numbers problem right now. You have too many schools, and somebody has to lose. And these days, if you're at one of these schools that ain't supposed to lose, when you start losing, they get you real quick. And Hugh Freeze is the latest example of that.
Number 5.
2025-26 college basketball season is underway.
I've been checking the scores.
Do casual sports fans know that college basketball started today? They have no idea, do they?
No, and I mean, I've said this to you over the years. I just think that college basketball does not do a good job of kicking off their season. I just think that we should go back. I'm not saying... I did think the 24 hours of college basketball was cool, but even more than that, I just think like a full day to start the season of nothing but banger matchups. Like just schedule. Like, I don't know how you do it because obviously these schools are making their schedules and everything like that, but to me, for the betterment of the sport, start the season. We know we're starting it on this day, and we are having so many top 25 matchups, rivalry matchups, all kinds of like good stuff like that.
I think what I heard you say is college basketball opens its season annually stupidly.
Yes.
I agree. I don't know why the people in charge won't listen to me, but I've tried to tell them. First off, you've got to pick a better day. Monday is not a good day to start the college basketball season.
It's Monday Night Football.
Well, it's for our purposes. Like all the shows come back on Monday.
Yep.
Traditional radio, the television shows,
okay,
the podcast, they all come back on Monday. Most people ain't sitting around talking into microphones on the weekend.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
They all come back on Monday. So what are we talking about on the Monday after a football weekend? After the World Series. It's football and World Series dominated stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what's going on ESPN right now, but they ain't talking about Arizona, Florida as much as they're talking about Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen.
Right.
Shouldn't be starting the season on a Monday because those A blocks and B blocks, they get filled up with football stuff coming off of a weekend.
Yep.
And even if you've got good stuff in prime time, it's opposite Monday Night Football. You're cooked. All right? Started on a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
That's far enough away from the weekend. You have no football competition. And started on a Tuesday with big games.
And I would say everybody plays. Like,
well,
or try your best to have everyone play.
The problem is every school handles it however they want.
Sure.
And most coaches with good teams don't want to play another good team in the opening game, which I think is ridiculous because I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it is largely unimportant. I sort of get it on the football side. There's less margin for error. A loss can be the thing that ultimately keeps you out of the college football playoff.
Mm-hmm.
I understand tippy-toeing into that a little bit, even though some schools don't, for the betterment of the game. But in basketball, like Florida and Arizona play tonight, and I give Todd Golden at Florida and Tommy Lloyd at Arizona an immense amount of credit for scheduling this game. Florida coming off a national title. Most national champions do not start the next season like this with a real game against a real opponent. So I love that Todd and Tommy did this. They didn't have to. It's a top 15 matchup, 6 o'clock on TNT. But somebody's going to win it, somebody's going to lose it, and it'll have no impact on their seasons in any real way. You won't even really remember it by the time we're at middle of February. So I don't know why more coaches won't go down this path, but I can tell you they don't like to. They don't want to. They'd rather play New Haven or Southern or Mercer than Arizona or Florida or St. John's. So we limp into the season every year.
Yeah.
We don't have enough big games, and we don't start it on the right day. And then people just sort of look up and they go, "Oh, well, I guess Duke's 2-0." You know?
Yeah. I don't like that.
It's not the smart way to do it. You need to. We've had these conversations, similar conversations about like the WNBA. I understand it's very difficult for them, given that their postseason starts in football season. But you got to do your best to get away from the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is hard for casual sports fans to turn on the Las Vegas Aces when the Kansas City Chiefs are on TV. But if the Las Vegas Aces are the most compelling thing available, well then, yeah, let's put that on a screen. There's just a smarter way to do this. Think of it in record releases. You know the last thing you want to do if you put out an album? Put it out anywhere close to where Taylor Swift's putting out an album.
True.
Did you see this? I guess it was a headline last week. For the first time in like 35 years, there was not a rap song in the top 40 on Billboard.
Okay.
All right. And people were like, what does this say about the state of hip hop? And what does this say about whatever? And you know what the best explanation for it was? It's top 40. There's 40 spots. Think of it as a restaurant with 40 tables. Here's a restaurant on the corner. It has 40 tables. Taylor Swift's taken up 12 of them. That's the main problem right now. She's taken up 12 of the tables. And so there's just not as much room for other things to be. That's the best explanation for why hip hop tracks aren't in the top 40 right now. It's more complicated than that, sure, but the biggest issue is that Taylor Swift is taking up 12 of the tables. So there's only 28 tables left. Similarly, when it comes to sports scheduling, you are going to have a better audience when there's more tables available. But when NFL is taking up this channel and the World Series is taking up this channel and some other football thing is taking up this channel, well, then there's fewer places for you to go where you can actually be the center of anything.
Yeah.
And college basketball runs into that right now. There's never I don't guess there's a perfect way to do it. You're still in the middle of football season. You always be secondary to football. But there is a smarter way to do it where people know you're starting, know what matters, and aren't pulled in other directions by football or even on some level, the WWE tonight. Started on Tuesday, started on Wednesday, but don't start it on Monday against the NFL or Thursday against the NFL or in a weekend dominated by football. Tuesday, Wednesday, that's probably the sweet spot. But here we are on Monday. Florida, Arizona tonight. I'll turn it on. Be back with GP's carryout.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Jeff Dunham, Artificial Intelligence, his all-new tour.
You're the other white meat. Wembanyama, how can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other?
Well, you're half of it.
I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss a Memphis. Friday, April 10th, FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale Monday, September 29th at jeffdunham.com.
Grizz Nation, don't foul out on dinner plans. Hit Sticks Express in downtown Memphis instead. Fresh hibachi, steak, shrimp, sushi tacos, and yes, our legendary sake slushy to keep things cool. Order online with code STIX901, STIX901, and knock 10% off your tab. It's the perfect pick and roll for game night. Sticks Express, fast, fresh, always a slam dunk. And hey, come see us at our Collierville location too.
The only thing better than Saturday Night Hoops is when it comes with an exclusive Grizz hoodie. Every Saturday this season, $60 gets you a Grizzlies ticket and a limited edition Grizzlies hoodie. 4 different hoodie designs dropping across 4 Saturday games. Not sold anywhere else. Don't miss your shot to collect all 4 designs. Grab your tickets and gear up now at grizzlies.com/Saturday.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. College basketball season's underway.
What's going on?
Well, so far the headline of the day, Adrian Wojnarowski has been ejected from St. Bonaventure's game.
Stop. That is not true. That's Centel, bro. No way.
The St. Bonaventure and Bradley are playing in the Field of 68 opening day marathon. I was just texting with Woj yesterday. He was like, all right, it's November 2nd, and I'm in Rock Hill, South Carolina for some reason. What is going on? What have I done to my life? We were joking around about it, and I guess that frustration boiled over today. He was, as the general manager of the Bonnies, sitting in the stands and apparently going, I hadn't seen it, I'm doing a show, but based on what I'm reading, was apparently like giving it to the officials pretty good, and they ejected him, and he had to be forcibly removed.
I mean, we know he's passionate about the Bonnies.
He is passionate about the Bonnies.
And I respect that.
I respect the passion. I respect the passion. Well, that's one way to get college basketball on the national radar on the opening day.
Let's go.
Get arguably the sport's highest profile, certainly one of the sport's highest profile general managers to get ejected from the game in Rock Hill, South Carolina. St. Bonaventure 42, Bradley 36 in the second half.
Let's go Bonnies.
Let's go Bonnies. And I'll text Woj a little bit later and see.
Let me know what he said. Yeah, find out. Give him some details.
See how he's doing.
I reserve my opinion until I find out what happened there. I know how these officials are.
I have told him this. Like, I totally get not wanting to do the NBA insider job anymore because I saw the toll that took on him. Like, up close. It's just a hard way to live. Your life's not about you anymore. It's not about your wife. It's not about your kids.
No, you're at the mercy of all this news.
If you are like laying down, if you are Netflix and chilling with your wife and that phone goes off, you got to get up.
Yep.
And that's the hard way to live. So I totally get not just reaching the point where you say, I am fortunate enough to have made enough money to live the life that I want to live. Because that's the thing, like when his whole life changed and he went from, normal columnist to ESPN insider, television star making $7 million a year or whatever, he never changed his lifestyle. You know what I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, but like, do you know what big purchase he and his family made when his life changed and he became a millionaire many times over? He got a new TV.
Oh, that's a great purchase.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they didn't change houses. They didn't change cars.
Yeah.
There was one time I was trying to get him to buy the Sopranos house. It was up for sale.
Oh, man.
I was like, dude, let's buy it. Let's buy it.
Yeah.
Let's buy the Sopranos house. You got that money, Woj. But they never changed their lifestyle. That's what I'm trying to say. And so I get, like, for the lifestyle I want to live, and I'm comfortable living, we now have enough money. I'm so fortunate. I never want to take a phone call from the assistant general manager of the Grizzlies again, right? Something like, I get that, but I sort of tongue-in-cheek, why do you want to do this? Like, I can understand wanting to be done with that aspect of your life. But to go do this? To negotiate with 17-year-olds? To try to get them to play mid-major basketball?
But it's fulfilling because that's your team.
It's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate that and actually admire it on some level.
Yeah.
Like, he lives in a little apartment above a bar near the St. Bonaventure campus. Like, his whole life is unusual. And I respect it because I know it's what he wants. Like, he lives and dies what he loves it. He's got a real purpose every day. I think that's important to have a purpose every day. This is his purpose. It would not be my purpose. That's my point. If I ever reach the point where I hate my job and feel like I've got enough money to live the life I want to live, me and my family, I would then maybe walk away, but it would not to do something like this. You just catch me at the golf course every morning after I take my kids to school. I'd be living a much more, I don't know if it's relaxing, but let's say different life. But he's in it. He went straight from that to this, and game one of his second season, he had to be removed from the facility.
I love the passion.
I want to
be the GM of the University of Memphis one day.
Well, you know what? Keep dreaming.
Okay.
Keep dreaming.
Dreamers, thinkers, doers.
Dreamers, thinkers, doers. Let's do GP's carryout.
Okay.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we miss today?
Okay, I didn't know whether I was going to talk about this with Michael Eaves, and that's precisely why I didn't put it in 5 more things. But we have to touch on the 2025 World Series because it goes down in history as one of the best World Series of all time.
Dude, and how awesome was it that Zach Edey bought a bunch of tickets for his teammates in Grizz? Like, Eric got to go. Eric was there. I can't wait to talk to him tonight and ask him what it was like. That's like one of the greatest baseball games of all time.
So what we know now is that Zach Edey, Toronto native, bought tickets for a slew of people, teammates, staff members, and took them all to Game 7 of the World Series. The way I noticed it, Darby, you know Darby?
Yep.
Like, I saw her on Instagram, and she was like, at the Rogers Center. And I was like, wow, Darby's at Game 7. And then you find out everybody who works here was at Game 7. Coincidentally, Game 7 of the World Series happened to come the night before the Grizzlies were playing in Toronto. So you fly in, you go to Game 7, and it's an all-time great memory. And
I feel bad for Zach. I mean, that's just the worst way to lose ever.
What an incredible night of baseball.
To lose by the spike of a cleat.
Do you have any issue, and if I'm getting too inside baseball, just cut me off or ask me to explain and I will. But IKF is on third base and gets thrown out at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
What people have accurately recognized is a forced play at the plate. You're running on contact. It's the classic bases loaded, one out, tie game situation.
Mm-hmm.
His lead is small. His secondary lead is small. And I don't mean just like, God, why didn't he get a bigger lead? I mean, like, if you compare it to all other leads at third in similar situations this postseason, secondary leads at third in similar situations this postseason, it ranks like the lowest of the low. He was not very far off of third base. So then this ball is hit, put into play, and there's a play at the plate, and I mean, it's bang, bang.
Yeah.
So what some have accurately pointed out, I think, is like if his lead is just average, if he has a normal average MLB lead at third, and he's running on contact, he scores. And the Blue Jays are in the World Series, win the World Series. I mean, it was bang, bang anyway. Really, you are here, but instead of here, you're here, you score. The game's over. So people are like, what is he doing? What is he doing? Why didn't he have a bigger lead? And he talked about it afterwards. And he said, I was doing what I was told to do. My coaches, what they are in fear of in that moment isn't a bang, bang play at the plate, necessarily. What they're in fear of is my secondary lead's a little too big. Line drive to third. Out, step on the bag, double play, inning over. They're trying to avoid the line out to third that creates the double play. So his instruction was, you go with the third baseman. Wherever he goes, you go. He's playing up, you can go with him, but you don't go further down the line than he is, because if we get this line drive to third, you're going to get doubled up, and then the inning's over. Who's right?
Man, I think that's probably a good philosophy if you're the coach. But I like the idea of just being ready to go for it, man. I like the idea of just being ready to go for the win.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I like that he had an explanation that is sensible. Rather than just say, well, I thought I had a big lead. Or, I thought it was... He explained. No. I hear what you're saying, because I did have a shorter than normal lead. But let me explain to you why. I was just doing what I was told. I'm the player. My coaches are the coaches. My manager's my manager. I did exactly what they told me to do. I like that he had an explanation that is sensible. I just think it's wrong. There are so many places that ball can be hit other than a line drive to third. Be ground ball to third. Ground ball to short. Ground ball to second. Ground ball to first. Ground ball to the mound. There's a million places this ball could go other than line drive to third. So I would just assume that this ball is going to go somewhere. I'm hopeful. And the odds of it being a line drive to third are minuscule. So I'm not going to prepare for that. I'm going to prepare for the more likely thing, which is this ball is hit on the ground somewhere. It is, by definition, more likely that the ball is hit on the ground somewhere than it is a line drive to third. There's just more space for that to happen. So I'm going to prepare for that. What is the most likely thing that could happen here that is going to require my man at third to beat a throw at the plate, a ground ball somewhere? Let's prepare for that, and let's get down this line as far as we can get, and we're moving on contact. Because if you did it that way, they win the World Series. You did it that way, he scores, and they they win the World Series. And then, of course, you get the big home run in the extras. Mookie Betts double play to end it. After Mookie had gotten the big hit on Friday night in Game 6, after struggling immensely in the World Series, I don't know if you caught it on Friday night on Halloween, but Mookie Betts joined A-Rod, Derek Jeter, Poppy at the desk on the field. And he was just like, they had just won. They were going to Game 7. He had the big hit, and he was almost like, he was like, I've just been really bad, like really bad. And Poppy was almost like building him up. He was like, you don't say that about yourself. You are one of the greatest players who have ever played this game. And you know what? It's almost like having to get a pep talk from Big Poppy. He was just down. And for him to end the World Series, you saw the emotion. For Kershaw to get to go out the way he went out, he was warming up. But we now know the last appearance for him ever was he gets out of that jam, bases loaded jam at Dodger Stadium in Game 5. Shohei had the all-time great stuff. And then, my God, I didn't know this was even possible in baseball, but apparently, at the very least, Yoshinobu Yamamoto can pitch every day.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy.
After pitching Game 6, he comes out in Game 7.
Sure did.
And did you see the moment where it's him and Vlad?
Yeah.
And he tips the hat?
Yep.
In Japanese culture. Just everything about it was awesome. Friday night was awesome. Like, we were trick-or-treating around the neighborhood, and, you know, technology is at a place now where we can, you know, you can watch a game while you're walking around your neighborhood. And I really enjoyed, like, I had random people and even kids, because they could hear the game as I'm walking around, and they'd come up and they'd be like, what's the score? Who's winning? Are the Blue Jays up? And there was this moment, like, on Friday night when Betts got the big hit.
Yep.
Like, I had a group of, like, trick-or-treaters, like 5 or 6 kids, and they could hear the game, and they were like, who's winning? And I think I said, it's 0-0, but Mookie Betts is up with the bases loaded or something like that. And suddenly I'm just standing in the middle of the neighborhood, watching Game 6 of the World Series with like 6 or 7 little kids that are in the middle of trick-or-treating. And it was just fun. I told this to Matt Norlander yesterday on the I'm College Basketball podcast. I love baseball, and I watch it every day during the summer, but I often feel like I'm watching it by myself. If you were watching the Chiefs and the Bills yesterday, and there was an amazing play, you could just tweet, that's amazing, and everybody would know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
If I'm watching baseball in the summer and something amazing happens and I go, that's amazing, nobody knows what I'm talking about because nobody's watching what I'm watching. So I love, in the rare times when it feels like the whole world is locked in on baseball. And though that can be difficult to do on a Saturday night in the college football season, it really did feel like baseball trumped college football on Saturday night. I don't know what the numbers are going to bear out, but there was a moment where, you got Ole Miss on TV and Tennessee on TV and big-time college football. But broadly speaking, American sports fans were focused on Game 7 of the World Series. Right. And it delivered. Just everything about the series, everything about that night. All-time great baseball moment. And now the Dodgers are back-to-back champs. They've won 3 of the past 6 World Series. And surprise, surprise, they'll be big favorites to do it again next season.
What's today's biggest game?
We're going Monday Night Football. Big Bet Bennett. Are you ready for some football?
I think so.
A Monday night party?
Yeah, I can get down.
Cardinals and the Cowboys, 7:15. It's on ABC and ESPN, live from AT&T Stadium down in Arlington, Texas. Cowboys are a 3.5-point favorite. Totals 54.5. You won with the Dodgers on Friday night. So now, let me get you updated, Big Bet Bennett. Now, you are officially 274, 239, and 4. You're up 5.9 units. How you going to act?
I think I'll go Cowboys here. I don't love the half point, but I'm going to go Cowboys just because I know they're going to be able to put up points in this game. Now, they may not stop the Cardinals at all, but I think if it turns into a shootout, I think the Cowboys are going to win this one handily. I do.
You're laying points?
Yeah.
Bennett says he's laying points.
Cowboys by a touchdown.
Cowboys minus 3.5. That's the play for Bennett tonight. First pitch. Kickoff, rather. 7:15. It's on ABC.
What are we watching on TV?
Can I interest you in a series called Girls Raised in the South?
Maybe.
Okay, Bennett, calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
What's going on?
Okay.
Let me get a description
Okay,
first.
let me give you a description.
Okay.
First. Girls Raised in the South. Also stylized as Grits. Grits.
Oh, that's cute.
Girls
Yeah,
Raised
okay.
in the South. It's an 8-episode series about 3 friends discovering themselves and the grit it takes to grow up and glow up in Memphis, Tennessee.
How about that? I didn't hear about this.
Well, that's because you don't hear the stuff I hear.
What channel is this on?
Glad you asked. It's on a streaming service.
Okay.
And the streaming service is called All Black.
Okay. I've never heard of it.
It's stylized ALLBLK.
Okay.
All Black.
How do I subscribe?
It's a streaming service under the AMC Networks umbrella. So you just Google All Black, ALLBLK, and it'll pop right up.
So AMC Plus probably, right?
All Black.
But it's under that, like, if you have AMC Plus, you have access to this network as well, I would assume.
You love to start guessing about stuff in GP's carryout. I'm not guessing. I'm just saying do exactly what I told you, which is Google All Black.
Well, it's not free if it's under that AMC Plus umbrella, is what I'm saying to you.
What I need you to do is just Google All Black and stop arguing with me. All right? I need you to Google All Black, and I need you to create an account. All right?
Okay.
Stop arguing with me about how you're going to get to All Black. You're going to Google All Black.
All right.
ALLBLK. And then it's going to take you to allblack.tv/sign-in.
Okay.
And you're going to have to figure it out from there.
All right.
But if you figure it out from there, you will be able to watch a new hit series called Girls Raised in the South. And it is about Keisha, Ty, and Francis discovering themselves and the grit it takes to grow up and glow up in Memphis, Tennessee.
Right on.
I mean, seriously.
I like getting the spotlight on the city.
It's a series based in Memphis. Why are you not excited?
I am excited. Shoot, we already lost Bluff City Law.
We lost Bluff City Law.
I'm trying to get some more Memphis love on TV.
That was so awful.
That was sad. That was a sad day.
No, I mean the show. Terrible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's fine. But it was just, I wanted to, I watched the first episode and that was it. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm the reason it got canceled. But I liked knowing that they were filming around town a little bit and stuff. Like, I don't think they filmed a ton here, but they filmed a little bit here.
I seen them down there.
They were down. They
were down there. And then that one fella jumped off the bridge.
What?
Well, that's the way the show ended. Old fella jumped off the bridge.
Oh, okay. Spoiler alert. I didn't know that.
Oh, my God. If I ruined Bluff City Law for you, congratulate yourself. So you have to sit through that. It was terrible. And then, like, the show, it was, clearly they were hoping for more than one season.
Yeah.
But it was only when they cut it after one.
So it's on a cliffhanger.
It ends on a fella just floating in the river.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's the way I remember it.
Can we go back and cut, like, just a new ending just to put out there?
I think, like, Buddy got out of prison.
Jeez.
And then he was like, man, this world ain't for me no more.
Actually, I take that back. Bluff City Law did film here. That was the fun. That was the cool thing about it is
you would see stuff.
No, I'm thinking of that other one. What was the one? There was some show on TNT before Bluff City Law. Memphis Beat. That did not film here. None of that took place in Memphis. Bluff City Law, they filmed here, so that was cool. We loved them.
Like the whatever they used for
he speaks for himself.
Whatever they used for the Bluff City Law office building was like a real place in downtown Memphis. Like you could Google right now Bluff City Law, see that where they're like standing out in front of the office, and then you could drive down and like you'd recognize it. You'd be like, oh, that's where that was. That fella climbed the bridge and he said, "This world ain't for me no more." And then the show was over. It was canceled.
Need a new ending.
And then the show was
Come on.
Can we end Bluff City? Can we do an alternative ending to Bluff City Law?
They probably filmed one. Like, can you just like do a re-release, like a director's cut
like
or
instead
something?
of climbing the bridge and jumping off, like the fella, he just goes to the pyramid and goes to the top and be like, "Man, isn't Memphis so beautiful from up here?"
I like that.
And then we just fade out and roll the credits, and that's it. Wouldn't that be better?
Yeah, let's do that.
Anyway, I bet you Girls Raised in the South is better. Jasmine Sargent, Ashanti Harris, and Asia Canyon are your stars.
All right.
How you going to find it, Bennett? Let's see how much you learned. How you going to find it? Grits, Girls Raised in the South. How you going to find it?
I'm going to go Google the All Black Network.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's called?
Just All Black, ALLBLK.
.TV.
Yeah, but as some have pointed out in the chat, just be careful.
I was going to say.
You end up on black.com, you got to, that's a different thing altogether. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
What I'm asking you to Google is ALLBLK. ALLBLK. And then I think you're smart enough. You're going to be able to figure it out from there.
Good, I'm going to watch it.
All right. Girls Raised in the South, 8-episode series based in Memphis. It launched just last week.
What's the best thing we've read?
Over at CBSSports.com, they've updated their top 136. Chip Patterson has. We've been keeping up with this because they were wildly disrespectful to Memphis earlier in the season. Mm-hmm. I got into the Slack channels with all of the football people, and I said, hey, I know you guys don't have boots on the ground down here in the Bluff City, but the way you're ranking Memphis, that is wildly disrespectful. Correct yourself.
Okay.
People associate CBS and rankings with me.
Yeah.
They associate the Masters and CBS with Jim Nantz. Rightfully so. But meaningless rankings in CBS, that's me. That's me. So when you got nonsensical rankings out there, it reflects poorly on me. I don't need that. Not in my life. Not right now. So I got in the Slack channels and I was like, you guys are being wildly disrespectful to Memphis. You've got to fix this. And then they went out and lost to UAB, lost the Bones in a battle for the Bones, but lost. And I was like, all right, maybe I should just shut them. But Memphis has bounced back.
Of course I have.
8-1 now and up to number 22 in the 1 through 136 over at CBSSports.com. That is the highest ranking of the season there. Ohio State remains number 1, Indiana 2, A&M 3, Alabama 4, Oregon 5, and your Memphis Tigers are at 22. You can find it on the homepage, CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's going to be Tuesday.
Yep.
I love Tuesdays. Don't you?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I hope we're talking about tomorrow?
What?
Grits.
A Grizz dub.
I would like a Grizz dub. I would like a Grizz dub with an inspiring performance from John Morant and a compelling post-game media availability that brings closure to the weekend that was.
Closure is the perfect word. I just want some closure.
What do we want tonight? We want a victory. We want an inspired performance from the franchise point guard and a post-game media availability that would provide closure for the weekend that was.
Yes.
That's what I want out of my Monday night.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Why wouldn't we do that? 7 o'clock tonight. Grizz Pistons inside FedEx Forum. Tickets available. Grizzlies.com. No matter what happens, we'll be talking about it tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful. Be kind. Be good. Rep your hood.